My grandfather immigrated from Glasgow, Scotland.
Okay. Yeah. So are you going to carry on the tradition of St. Patrick's Day parties?
We are going to carry on the tradition of, it's Celtic, you know.
Yeah,
Scots are Celts also. So.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Moments with McClellan. I am very excited. I have been waiting for weeks to interview our next guest. We have the newest member of Congress, Representative James Walkinshaw from Virginia's 11th District. Welcome to Congress.
Thank you. Very happy to be here.
So are you excited?
I'm excited. Yeah, excited, exhausted, exhilarated, all those things.
So this is your 2-week anniversary from when you were sworn in.
Almost.
What has been the most memorable moment so far?
Honestly, a lot of it has been a blur because there's been so much to do. But probably the most memorable moment was one night last week after votes. It was a beautiful night. It's like one of those rare nights in Washington, D.C. where it's not humid, it's not muggy. Walked out of the chamber, walked out onto the Capitol steps, and just kind of took 5 seconds to take everything in and appreciated the dome and the Capitol and the history. So for me, it was that quiet moment has been the most memorable. Everything else has been a little bit of a blur. But that was a great moment.
Yeah, just a little bit. So while you are new to Congress, you are not new to the Hill. You started out as Chief of Staff to our friend and the late Jerry Connolly. What is one thing from your days as a staffer that you are carrying with you now as a member?
I think there are a lot of things, but probably the number one thing is just the commitment to responsiveness and constituent service. That was obviously always a huge priority for Jerry, and was my job as his chief of staff to make sure that we were executing on that every day. So folks who reached out to our office got a timely response, a substantive response, got their problem addressed and hopefully solved whenever possible. And I took that kind of same mindset to my service on the Board of Supervisors in Fairfax, and I like to dig into the nuts and bolts of making sure that process is working.
And what, like you, I came in a special.
Yeah.
Like you, it was under bittersweet circumstances. Yeah. What has it been like for you succeeding your former boss?
Yeah, so, he was more than a boss for me. I mean, we were very close friends. We worked together for 11 years, I guess maybe 12 years. So we became very close over that time. When I met him, I was, young, single, 26-year-old, and when he passed, I had been married for almost a decade and have a young son, so he was kind of a big part of formative time in my life, and learned a lot of lessons from him, not just about government and public service, but about life and friendship and relationships. So it's been a hard time to be without him, but also a great honor to be able to follow in his footsteps and try my best to represent the 11th District as well as he did for so many years.
I know he's very proud of you. What is one piece of advice that he gave you that sticks with you now?
It isn't a piece of advice that he said, but it's a way that he lived and did the job. He really, and you know this having served with him, he devoted every fiber of his mind, body, and spirit and soul into service and into this work. And that's been probably the most powerful single lesson for me. That's what the people that we represent deserve. That's what he gave, and that's what I try to give.
Yeah. So you alluded to when you left the Hill, your first elected office was at the local level. What's the biggest difference you see so far in in your long 2-week tenure.
Yeah, the great thing about local government is you can impact your community in very tangible ways, and that's what attracted me to it. So, everything from getting a street light repaired to a pothole fixed to getting a rec center renovated, which is something I worked on, or new housing built. You can look at something in your district and say, we need to improve this and change this. That's harder to do in a legislative role. Here you're hoping to move the needle in the right direction on any given day, or push things in the right direction, but there's very tangible satisfaction that you can get in local government.
So you are a lifelong Northern Virginian, and we know different parts of the state have different stereotypes, but is there a Northern Virginia stereotype that actually is true?
Oh, good question. Is there a Northern Virginia stereotype that actually is true? I guess let's think, what are the Northern Virginia stereotypes? One, I guess, is that we're all wealthy, which isn't true. There are more kids living in poverty in Fairfax County than most of the rest of Virginia. So we have all of those challenges. A stereotype that's true is we do not like Maryland drivers. I think that's true. That's universal.
Okay.
Just keep them off of our side of the Beltway. That part is definitely true. Yeah.
And if you were leading a congressional delegation, or as we call it, a CODEL, on a trip to your district, what is the one must-visit place?
Ooh, it's hard to pick one. I probably would say Great Falls, the Virginia side of Great Falls. I mean, if you catch that at the right time when the water levels are high and it is really moving, I don't think there's any more beautiful spot in the country. So that would be my number one, I think, but I could give you 10 others.
Well, so we do have some long nights here, and you remember that from your days as a chief as well. So far, when you've had a long day on the Hill and you go back home, what do you like to do to unwind?
Well, I try to get home in time to read my son Mateo a book or two. His bedtime currently is 8:30. Last night I just barely made it. I got home just in time to do a little bit of reading. I probably have not great habits when I get home. It's a little bit hard for me to wind down, especially if we're up here debating and discussing things. So I probably doom scroll a little bit more than I should when I get home.
Don't do that.
And I pay for that in the morning. But yeah, if my wife is still awake, spend a little time with her, just catching up on our day and how things went for her and how things went for me. That's the healthiest thing that I can do.
Now, you don't have the shortest commute in the delegation, but it's not too terribly long, so you don't really have enough time to unwind. It's
at night, late at night, it's 30 minutes from the Capitol to my house, so not too bad. Rush hour, a little bit different story.
Yeah, well, I mean, it could be too, depending on what's going on up here.
Yeah.
What is your guilty pleasure, whether it's a TV show or a book?
I don't have any guilty pleasure TV shows. I probably have a guilty pleasure popcorn. That's also maybe a late night.
Okay.
If I get home late at night and my wife is already asleep, I'm opening up the bags of popcorn while I'm doom scrolling. That's probably my guilty pleasure.
All right.
Yeah.
So if you were forced to completely put the phone down, tune out politics, don't think about it, don't talk about it, where do you turn your attention?
Reading a book, a physical book. I've actually, relatively recently, kind of shifted away from the Kindle or digital book and kind of gone back old school to the physical book. I just feel like it's easier for me to stay focused on the physical book for some reason. I've been reading a great book about the history of the civil rights movement, Waging a Good War by Tom Ricks, where he kind of talks through the way that the civil rights leaders used military principles and were highly strategic and disciplined in how they executed the civil rights movement. So a physical book like that is probably the best thing.
And if you could have dinner with any historical figure, who would it be and why?
Well, I have to pick a Virginia. I probably have to pick a Virginian here, right?
You don't have to.
Yeah. No, I will say Barack Obama. It would be Barack
Okay.
Obama for me. Yeah, I met him a
Okay.
couple times, very briefly, but that would be my dinner choice. Yeah.
What is the one item that you can't live without when you're on the Hill?
Phones probably don't count, right?
Right. Well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
certainly my phone. Honestly, probably my Apple Watch I've gotten attached to and reliant, maybe overly reliant on in terms of schedule and kind of have everything on there that I need. So that would be it. Other than phone, Apple Watch probably.
I thought I could live without my phone but whenever we have to, if we're in the SCIF or for a classified briefing, or if we have a caucus meeting where we have to leave it, then I'm just like, oh, where am I and what am I supposed to be doing?
Yeah.
What would surprise people about you?
Oh, what would surprise people about me? I don't know if this would surprise people. I was, in my much younger days, a relatively serious athlete. I played soccer competitively, so I took that very seriously through college, played in college, and actually into my adult years until I started racking up enough injuries that I had to put it aside. But that was a big part of my life for a long time. Still is, to a lesser degree. My son plays now, so I enjoy going to his games and taking him to games.
So you mentioned your son. There are not a lot of members of Congress who are parents to young children. Yeah. What does he think about your new job?
He understands that I have Jerry's job because he and Jerry were buddies.
Yeah.
So he understands that, and that we're kind of sort of in charge of something here in Congress. I think that's probably the extent of his kind of understanding. He was here when I was sworn in, and he loved riding the Rayburn subway, although he's a little annoyed that it was a short ride. He wanted it to be longer and faster.
Yeah.
But I think over the next couple of years, I think he'll kind of come to understand it a little bit more. And I try to incorporate him when I can. So on the Board of Supervisors, when it was possible, I would take him to community events with me so he could experience it. Usually if there were some kind of kid activity there, right, a moon bounce or something, I would try to bring him and let him, enjoy some of it as well.
Yeah, mine, it's funny. I had a annual picnic that I had to go to. I was like, okay, you guys going with me to the picnic this year? And they were like, no, we were hot and miserable last time.
Yeah, things that it might not be as fun as we think it is.
Yeah. But you're surprised. I'm surprised sometimes.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to do a lightning round so that people can get to know James Walkinshaw. So introvert or extrovert?
Probably more introvert, but I can do both. But probably more on the introverted side, yeah.
I'm borderline.
Yeah.
Favorite color?
Blue.
Morning person or night person?
Morning.
Mountains or beach?
Beach.
Okay. What is your go-to app or game on your phone?
I do not play any games on my phone.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, what do you recommend? I don't know. Should I try?
Well, I'm addicted right now to Color Block Jam.
Color Block Jam.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It's like Tetris, but you have to move blocks out of a gate, and it's I'm addicted to
All
it.
right. I'm going to try that.
Do you like to text, call, or FaceTime?
Text.
Okay. Favorite supervillain?
Ooh. Joker.
Favorite superhero?
Superman.
So DC?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any nicknames?
Some of my old friends, based on kind of, when your last name is Walkinshaw, you get all of the, jokes about that over the years. So, Walker, Walk In, Walk and Talk, Hawk. Got kind of every iteration of things related to Walkinshaw, but not quite Walkinshaw.
Now, is that Scottish?
It is Scottish, yeah.
Okay.
My grandfather immigrated from Glasgow, Scotland.
Okay. Yeah. So are you going to carry on the the tradition of St. Patrick's Day parties?
We are going to carry on the tradition of, it's Celtic,
Yeah, so
Scots
good.
are Celts
Good, good,
also.
good.
So yeah.
Is that your favorite holiday?
Yeah, well, probably Christmas is my favorite holiday, but
Okay.
yeah. Jerry's enthusiasm for St. Patrick's Day was unmatched. I enjoy it like everyone else, but no one enjoys it as much as him.
If you had to go to a Halloween party, what would your costume be this year?
What would my costume be this year? Well, my wife wanted us to go to a party, maybe this was last year, as Wayne and Garth from Wayne's World.
Nice.
So maybe she can convince me of that. She couldn't convince me, but maybe this year she'll convince me.
Okay, all
I'm
right.
not sure whether I'm supposed to be Wayne or Garth in that.
I could see either one, actually.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Trek.
Okay.
Yeah, I like Star Trek, yeah. I
And
used to watch with my dad when I was a kid.
I did too.
Yeah.
I did too. And if you were in a Harry Potter house, which one would it be?
Oh, you've stumped me here. I do not know Harry Potter.
Okay.
Yeah. When should we read Harry Potter?
Oh, great question. So.
Because I think age-wise, I kind of missed it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when is the right time?
So in the first book, he's 11.
Okay.
So
all right.
I think a lot of people
Do it around then.
will do it around 11.
Yeah.
I would probably put you. You look like a Gryffindor to me. So.
All right.
Yeah,
okay.
No, we're
I'm
gonna
have to
call
look
that.
up.
We're gonna
All
call
right.
that. So, you just got here.
Yeah.
But let's fast forward a little bit. What do you want your legacy to be?
I want my legacy to be someone who was a champion for the residents and businesses in my district, in the 11th district. As you know, that includes a lot of folks who are federal workers, federal contractors, people who really devote their time and talents and energy to serving the American people. And it's a hard time for them right now. So I want my legacy to be their champion. And also, I hope over time, I'm somebody who cares about the institution of the House and Congress. I've spent 11 years working here on the staff level. I hope to be over time somebody like yourself who moves the institution in the right direction, in the right ways. That's going to be a long-term project, but I hope for that to be part of my legacy.
Well, good. Well, and last question, if you could go back and give your high school self a piece of advice, what would it be?
If I could give my high school self a piece of advice, I think I would say, I don't know if this is in the regret category, but in my 20s especially, I worked, and I probably could have carved out, my staff doesn't listen to this because don't follow what I'm saying, but I probably could have carved out a little bit more time to do things outside of work.
I highly recommend that right now because this job could consume your life if you let it. But I'll leave you with a piece of advice that my daughter gave during COVID, and that is get some joy in there.
All right. I love it.
All right.
Good.
Well, thank you, James.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone, for joining in. Tune in next time to see who our next guest will be.